and I am working in a division which is known as 4D Simulations India Private Limited. So this particular division is a part of, or you can subsidiary of this Adrotech company. So we are dedicated people into the manufacturing and reverse engineering. So I will explain little bit about our field, what all different products we are dealing in. So hope the second slide is visible to you. So please confirm, because sometimes what's happened, only the slide will not navigate. So I am on to the second slide right now. So in this particular slide, if you look at this, so we are having various domain in our field. So additive manufacturing is one of them. So there are the different fields which through which we are associated, and we are giving solutions to the companies. So moving towards the topic, so we are having this particular heading in this domain of 3D printing and design. So there are three terms we have mentioned over here. These three terms are rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, and 3D printing. So all three terms are specifying the same thing with some different concepts. Like what all different concepts, let's try to understand what all different concepts are. So if we are talking about rapid prototyping, then it means that there is prototyping which is happening in a faster manner, so which is known as a rapid prototyping process. So in earlier days, if you recall the earlier days, if some people here are having some experience more on the prototyping, they must be aware there was a process of prototyping by means of clays, by means of some piece of papers, with the help of like some sandwiching structures with the help of paper or the films. So by the means of those different things, by the manual operations, we were able to produce some prototyping equipments, sorry, prototyping components. So all those components were there by manual method. But in early 80s, especially in 1983, when a technology came into the existence and came into the discovery, that was stereolithography. So stereolithography was the first technology which was associated to the rapid prototyping, which was the first technology was introduced by Chuck Hull, who is also known as Charles Hull, who was the founder of a company which is known today is 3D Systems, which is a globally uh, very renowned company and one of the major company in additive manufacturing. So there are two parallel companies which are big name in additive manufacturing. One is Stratasys and another is 3D System. Those two companies are bigger, you can say very big in this field. So he was the founder of this particular company, and also the you can say he introduced particular technology, or you can say 3D printing, or you can say additive manufacturing or rapid prototyping. He introduces the industry. So in those days, what was happening there? So that process was transformed from the manual operations to the rapid operation or the automated operation. So process was very simple. There was the monomer material. We will discuss it later with the classifications, but little bit brief is there. So there was only the liquid material which was turned into the solidification with the help of photopolymerization process. So this was the process. So this term was associated with rapid prototyping, and it was for checking the form and fits. It was for checking appearances. It was for like simple prototyping operations only. But later on, different industries recognized the potential in the technology. Then later on, it went up to a certain extent into the manufacturing operations as well. So it went into the manufacturing process, and it went into the some production equipments as well. So in those days, it turned into the name of additive manufacturing. You may consider the period of that transformation can be late 90s or early 2000s. But after that, there was a time when this technology was generalized to the common people. So technology was introduced to the common people. The common people were started using the technology. This may be the time of after 2010 was the time when people were started investing in this technology. Those who were not aware of too much, those who were not very much techy, they were also started using the technology. So in those days, industry felt that there should be a common name, there should be a name which can be easily fits with the society. So that is why it turned into 3D printing, and today everybody knows what 3D printing is and where it has been applied. So what is 3D printing? There is nothing new in it. There is a simple process in order to produce a component, but there is something which is different, which makes it different. So if you look at some pen and you can say some 2D printing technologies like some laser jet printing, or you can say some like inkjet printing. If you're looking at that particular process, you may find that particular process is also can also be considered as 3D printing, because there is a height which is a constraint there, which is restricting that to consider to be 3D printing, because there is uh, that height is very much negligible. If you are printing a paper, that paper is experiencing a height with a text or the image, that image may not have that much of thickness that can be considered to be into our consideration. So that is why that particular printing process cannot be considered as 3D printing. But if you are increasing that certain level of height in that particular printing, 2D printing, that height will significantly say that height can be transformed into the 3D printing process. So if you are repeatedly putting the ink on the text which you are printing through the 2D printer, if you are repeating that process, that fonts, that those fonts which you are printing on the 3D printer, that will be appearing into 3D structure. So that can be considered as 3D printing. So in this first point, you may see over here process of making physical object from a 3 dimensional digital model. So there is a basic thing or the basic workflow. I will come onto the on this point in further slide. But there is a basic thing which is a basic requirement for 3D printing process, is a digital model. So digital model could be anything, like any software today. Actually, there was certain limitations with the conventional manufacturing process. There was only some software like which were available for using the manufacturing operations. But with this particular technology, there are some there you can consider there are some like barriers has been removed, because today if you are using CAD softwares, if you are using some artistic softwares, you are using some jewelry softwares, if you are using some any other dental softwares, there are various 3D softwares, and there are various 3D CAD data generation platforms like 3D scanning processes there, CT scanning processes there, volumetric scanning processes there. There are various processes to extract the 3D data. So that 3D data can be transformed into triangulation file format. That triangulation file format may be considered as the STL file format, which is stereolithography file format, or standard triangulation format. Both names are for STL file formats. And then another file format is .obj file format, which is there .ply file format. So there are a number of file formats which are there, which are usually known as mesh file format. So mesh are nothing but just a model out view which is turned which is converted into simple triangulations. Like you are having a surface, you are having a model of a football, or you can have something that can be converted into small facets. So small facets of triangle repeats itself to cover it up. So that covering up will give you an idea, that will give you the model. So that particular model will give you the idea, or you can see the outer surface of the geometry. That particular outer surface of geometry will give you the STL, or you can say your digital model. So digital model is required here. So every software is capable of it. Every software is having the capability to export the file into the STL file formats, OBJ file formats, or there are various file formats. So there are the different softwares which are there. So second point which is associated with the technology is typically by laying down many successive thin layers of material. So in order to do that, we are having a separate software in order to make slicing. So there is a there is a process known as slicing, what software typically does, it convert that digital model into the small fine contours. Those fine contours can be repeats itself. uh, those contours are nothing but just the cross sections of that particular geometry, so that can considered as like small slices. Like you are having a potato, that potato can be converted into the small chips. So those chips, if we are uh, we are joining those chips together, then it can form a potato again. Not the same potato, but you will be having a exact feel of it, like it is a potato. So this is something which is we are doing with the help of different mechanisms. So there are different mechanisms work over there. So we will be working, we will be discussing about it in the further slides. Each of these layers can be seen as a thinly sliced horizontal cross sections of eventual objects. So whatever the object you have selected as a digital model, if you are creating a 3D modeling of it on a 3D printer, or you can say 3D fabricator or additive manufacturing system, if you are creating a component, then you will be identifying a resolution of it. If that resolution is bigger, then in that particular case, bigger means the size of that resolution is broader. If you are saying the resolution is high, it means that the layer is very thin. If you are saying resolution is low, it means that layer is very thick. So it is dependent on your like technology, it will be dependent on your hardware capability. So this will be visibility of that particular thin layer will be totally dependent on your selected technology. So SLA usually do not have that much, but in FDM it usually has very visible layers over there. So these 3 points are there which identifies this particular technology. So there are some advantages, there are some limitations, there are some like some open areas where we can explore. There are some R&D things are going on. So this technology is not very old. We can say it is just 33 years old right now. So there are a lot of scope in it. There are a lot of materials which are into the R&D. There are a lot of technologies, lot of process are going on. So this is a basic workflow in 3D printing process. So as I told you, there is a digital model is a must to do the 3D printing. So you should have a 3D model. That 3D model can be achieved from a CAD software, from an artistic software, from a jewelry software, anywhere, from anywhere you can get that CAD model. Even if you are having a CT scanning, if you are working in medical field, if you are working on implants, if you are working on some dental applications, then in that case, if there are some CT scans with you, those CT scans can turn into the DICOM file formats. Those DICOM file formats can further transform into STL file formats or OBJ file formats. So those file formats can further be evaluated. Uh, there is one challenge. If you are exporting a file into a different file format, which is not a standard file format of your software, then there may be some data losses. Those data losses may be visible more into the detailed part. If there is no details in the part, then there will be minimum data loss. Like if you are having have captured your image through some DSLR, if you are transferring it through WhatsApp, then there will be some data losses. In the same way, if you are exporting the file into the third party software, or if you are exporting into the different format of file which is not relevant to your software, definitely it will have some losses. So that losses may be there. So there are complete like theories, there are complete books on those losses. So uh, we cannot discuss every loss over here, but there are certain losses which could be there, like resolution may be affected, some holes may be there, some overlapping may be there, some edges may miss there, the triangulations may have some quadrilateral patterns. So there are some different you can say deformations, different you can say missing of patches, missing of facets, that may be there. So there are the different losses which are there, can be considered into mesh review. So mesh review itself is a big market. So if somebody is talking about additive manufacturing, so this is one field where somebody can have his career, somebody can have some research on it. So mass review itself is a big market. So there are certain companies, I can name them. So those companies are dedicatedly working on the mass review kind of thing. So what they does, they just put your file into the review, and they fix your all errors. So there are certain softwares, big softwares, like there is a company named Materialize. They are having two very known software, which are Magix and Mimix. So Magix is dedicated for engineering applications, and Mimix is dedicated for medical applications. So all those different softwares help us out to review the mess, help us out to fix the mess. Like there may be some patches, there may be some holes, there may be some overlapping, there may be some edge missing, there may be some quadrilaterals. All those can be fixed through the mesh fixing. Apart from that, there may be some deformities. Those deformities can also be fixed there. So the workflow is like this. There is a CAD software, you can export that, then that exported file can go on to the review. That review can be done with the third party software. That review can be done with the dedicated software which comes along with the machine. So that can be done, but the software which comes along with the machine can do the slicing only. There is less chances to have that match fixing and the match review options in the software. But still there are some possibilities in some software, especially those companies who are giving very like complete solution in order to do the additive manufacturing. So those companies provides all those things with it. So then there is another section which is known as preparing and printing. So in preparing, usually I mentioned earlier, slicing is a process. That slicing process your uh, uh, include your part to be sliced into specified resolution. Apart from that, there are something which we can do. In some process it may be applicable, in some processes it may not. There may be the lattice structuring. In case if your process is not like that, you can do the lattice structuring, or giving the hollow structuring. So in your process, if it is not in your process, then you have to go back to the mesh fixing operation, and that particular software may have that option to do the lattice structuring. Apart from that, there are few more cases which we can do. Like there are some like part integration, part consolidation, or part optimization, topology optimization. All those options we can do. We will come across with the slides related to those examples, and how additive manufacturing is more reliable technology in order to do all those operations. So this is another way of justifying this process. So there is a CAD based 3D model. So you may have any CAD software, like in mechanical engineering, we know SolidWorks, PTC Creo, CATIA. These softwares are associated with your mechanical engineering. If talking about some dental applications, there are many softwares, like there is Delta is one software, and there are few more. I don't remember their name because I do not associate it with the dental applications, but there are 2 3 more softwares which I am very familiar. And then in jewelry segment, there is Rhinoceros is a software. So there are different software from where you can extract the file, and that STL file can further go on to the slicing process. So slicer, usually you may have a third party slicer, or you may have a slicer which is dedicated to the machine. Usually big companies, those who are having like some principles doing it, like they are having proprietary materials, they are having proprietary properties of material, they are having proprietary parameters. In that case, they have to provide the dedicated software. But if some machines are open for different materials, some machines are open for different settings, parameters, then in those cases you may use your third party software. So this is very simple process, which is truly dependent on your requirement, truly dependent on the supplier from where you have been purchasing. So then you are having additive manufacturing system, which is nothing, just the 3D printer, which is a hardware. So still I am saying it like in additive manufacturing process, still dominating part is your design part. So design part is there. If you are aware of the designing, then you have to only take care of your material, you have to take care of your system. So we will coming to that particular slide as well, so that will also justify this statement. So after that, after taking out the part, it is not like that you can directly use the part, because there are certain things which will be comes across during the 3D printing operations. So you may require some support removal operations. I will come back to the support structure, what is support structure, in my further slides. And apart from that, the surface finish is not always too great with every technology. So in order to get that surface finish, you need to do some post machining operations. Apart from that, some process like SLA process required post curing operations, some process required support removal, some process required some surface finishing, some may require some polishing operations. So there are the different operations which comes into the post processing. So this is a video. So in this particular video, I just want to mention, though, for those who are not aware of the technology, but I felt that everybody is aware of the technology, but still I want to share, like, there is this is a system which I have considered, not always like this, but this is a particular system which I have considered, where you have to deposit the material in such a way from a fine nozzle. It is just the extrusion process, but in the controlled way. Like the extrusion process is having a unidirectional, but here you are having three different directions with the help of different axes. Like this particular mechanism may have the all degree of freedom in with the head, or may have the degree of freedom with the build platform. So that depends on the mechanism, what mechanism the company is providing, the manufacturer is providing. So this is just the deposition of material layer by layer. So this is the very first layer where it is filling the material throughout the part. So in this way, so this is how it has been moved down, and it is just depositing the second layer, and in this way it will be depositing the whole volume. So this is how 3D printing process goes. So this is a most common process, or you can say most common technology. So in this particular technology, you are having material.
So your voice is very low, sir.
Okay, sorry. So in this particular technology, what's there is, if your nozzle is depositing the material, so that material may be in the form of some slurry, that may be in the form of hot plastic. So usually there are two type of heads are there, two types of extrusion mechanism are there. One is for hot and another is for cold. So there are the different mechanisms, but this is the most common thing today. This is the most common technology which is available throughout the industry. So if you ask anybody, then he must be thinking of the same technology. He must not be aware of the all of them, but this is the most commonly available with the different, you can say, manufacturer, or different, like people who are working with the technology. So this is the most common technology so far. So here is another thing.
So 3D printing is taking over the world, but how does it? Well, it's quite similar to a normal printer, but then a little different.
So I'm just confirming whether the audio of this video is audible to you, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can continue. Audio is very clear.
First, you don't put in an ink cartridge, but instead connect a spool of special printing material like plastic, rubber, or even metal. And you don't print boring text documents, but real-life models of what you've just made on your computer screen. Simply awesome. Right now, you can buy a 3D printer yourself and make complex 3D models with modeling software. But if you're not really a wizard with all that technical stuff, you can buy personalized 3D models online, like fancy toys, bracelets, or phone cases. Then send it to a 3D print shop nearby, choose a material, and pick up your own unique item. Sweet. In the medical world, they're developing 3D printers with special biological material. They're working on printing heart valves, ears, bones, skin, and even printed a small human kidney that can live for 3 months. It's just amazing. And hold on to your seats. They're developing a 3D printer that can print in space and are planning to print a moon base. A moon base! But, still, the coolest thing you can print with a 3D printer is another 3D printer. Booyah!
So this was an idea related to 3D printing. So there is a difference between the additive manufacturing and the subtractive manufacturing. So subtractive manufacturing is nothing but just where you are putting a block of your material, and that block can be converted into the desired shape. So in this particular technology, in additive manufacturing, you need not to have a block. You have a material in the different form of like you can say in wire form, in powder form, in liquid resin form. You can have material in all three stages. So that material can be deposited layer by layer to form your desired shape. So in this particular picture, it may be clear. And with the help of a further video, it will be more clear. So there is a difference between the process. So in the right side, you can see the subtractive, and left side, you can see the additive. So this is how it is different. So what are the different advantages with the technology? So in this particular technology, you are having advantages for doing the complex shapes. I will show you some examples. You can find it out in the next slide. So complex shapes can very easily printed with the help of additive manufacturing process. Those complex shapes you cannot even imagine with the conventional manufacturing process. Next point is freedom for design. So whatever you are thinking right now, whatever you are going to develop, like uh, during our childhood, we have a lot of curiosity, like we should have this particular component, we should have this thing, we should have this thing. Nowadays, uh, if a small kid is having that idea and he is having a 3D printer with him, then he would really create all those equipments, those who are thinking in his mind. So those can convert it into reality. So this particular thing can happen just because of this particular technology, because this do not require any kind of industrial background. This do not require any kind of like expertise, or you can say this do not require any kind of like certifications in order to have it with you. And there are some customized parts, those in prosthetics it is usually required, in dental it is usually required. So there are some customized things which you are looking for, like some specific shapes, some specific design. Those all can be created very easily with this, because for customized parts you cannot spend too much on the dies, you cannot spend too much on different tools manufacturing like jigs and fixtures. You need to create just a part, so that you can do with the help of additive manufacturing process. Then as you can see through the recent video, there was a block that was converted into the spherical ball. So in that particular process, there was huge amount of, like you can say, material was wasted. So here you would not find any waste, because whatever the material you are using, you may have some wastage, but that wastage would be very less if you are comparing that with your subtractive manufacturing process. Then there are some fewer unsold products in this particular category. You may have like a prime example of like ambassador car. If you are having a part, ambassador car is having a part which gets some faults. Those faults cannot be repairable, and that part is no more in the market just because the company is no more producing the cars. So if you are having that kind of situation, what would you do? You would take out the faulty part. You can scan that out. That scanned part can be further like modified as per your requirement. That modification can further go on to the production again with the help of additive manufacturing process. So that unsold product can recreate with the help of the existing design. So that you can do your like you are having a remote, that remote is having a back cover which is uh, usually may be lost. So that back cover can be redesigned, and that redesigned part can be again created with the help of 3D printing. Those all things you can do. Then this is very important thing, which is less transport. Like if you are traveling through the ocean, or you are traveling to the outer space, so you need to get some spares of your spaceship or the ship. So you need to get some spares like those spares which are consumables. You have to bring them all together. So during your transit, if some spare get failed, you have to replace that. So you should have to keep some inventory with you. So that inventory may have some number of quantities. But if you are having 3D printer installed on your board, then in that particular case, what will happen? You have to bring only the soft files or the CAD files with you. With the help of those CAD files and the raw material, you can print any part which is required for your repairment or your maintenance, that you can do on the board. So these are some complex shapes example that you cannot really create with the help of subtractive manufacturing, or you can say conventional manufacturing process. So this kind of structure can only create with the help of additive manufacturing process. So these are some design freedom, like you can create your own. These are some examples. These are just the products which were some creations of some people. You can also have your own. So these are some customized parts. There are some wearables. There are some, you can say, insoles. As per your custom, you can have some prosthetics with you. So these are some customizations which you can do. So this is an example of less waste. There was a block that was converted into a product. That product leaves a lot of waste in conventional manufacturing process. But in additive manufacturing process, you are having less amount of powder. That powder went into the manufacturing process, that turned into the product, and there was a very less waste available. So there are some solutions which you have to take care, which you have to take care as per your requirement. So let us say you are having a requirement. On the basis of that requirement, you would have three basic parameters. What are those? First is the process parameter, how and why you are going to do with this. And second is the system, and third is the material. So let us discuss one by one. The process parameter is nothing, just identifying the layer resolution. Like your requirement is related to the form and fit, like your requirement is related to the appearances, like your requirement is related to the surface finishing. So what all different process parameters would be required? Like you want to have the layer resolution of 25 microns, you have to look to the system where you can find out the layer resolution of 25 microns. If you are having much higher resolution, then 10 micron could be there. So you have to identify the system as per your requirement for the resolution, for the for your requirement. Like today we know so far, today we are having different technologies. So among all those technologies, there are some technologies which gives you high strength part. There are some technologies which gives you the high resolution part. There are some technologies which gives you the flexible parts. There are some technologies which can give you the very like rigid component. So as per your requirement, you have to identify your process parameters. Like I want the high resolution, along with this I want this. So all those requirement can be fit into these three different points. First is process parameter, second is system. So why system is important? Because if your higher resolution is your requirement, then there are only two technologies which can be fulfilling this requirement. So those two technologies can be considered as the system. So those two technologies will fit two systems only. So those two systems could be like SLA, those two systems could be like some other technology, maybe PolyJet. So I will be coming back to that particular thing, but here you need to think about, like, there are some systems, there are some different technologies, those different technologies are there. You have to identify your requirement. On the basis of requirement, what all process parameters can work with this particular system, that will be interrelated. Then if your system is there, your process parameters has been identified, you have to identify the material as well. What material will work in those parameters? Because some materials may have capability to go up to 100 micron, but some materials may not have that capability. Some materials can go up to 200 micron, but some materials can even go at 25 micron. So all 3 points are interrelated. Then only you can get the quality material output or quality material property. That quality material property, after these evaluations, you can go on to the production. Then only you would be able to save quantity per hours, like you will save your time and your money. So these two things will be saved after so much of analysis related to your system, related to your material, related to your process parameter as per your application. So there are different applications, different requirements. On the basis of those requirements, you may identify the system, but the priority would be like, if your let's take an example. If your field is medical, in medical, the material is the first priority. Material should be biocompatible. So in those case, your first priority would be biocompatibility. Then what system can uh, what system can do with biocompatibility material? What system will support biocompatibility material? Then your system will be the second thing. Then in that particular thing, you have to identify the process parameter where it will sustain its biocompatibility behavior, or it will loses its biocompatibility behavior. After all, it should solve your purpose. So these are the things which we need to consider during our decisions, in order to choose the system, in order to choose the material, in order to choose the process parameters. So these are the three different things which we come across during the process chain. The first is design. As I told you, the design is very basic thing, which is ultimately required for every process. Where whatever the process is there, whatever the system is there, what is the process parameter is there, your design is required. So in design, there is only single thing which you need to take care, that is your export. Your export should be appropriate as per your requirement. Like if your export would not be appropriate, like your export should have right resolution, right optimized resolution, so that you can get the right output. So output will totally dependent on your input. So design is your input in this additive manufacturing process. So you have to follow all those design rules which are specified with the help of additive manufacturing. So there are certain softwares related to it. Those softwares has the capability to do this. After that, your rules, like if you cannot put some lattice structuring during the process, then you have to identify this identify that lattice structuring into the designing operations itself. So design is very important thing. Then in printing, these three things we have already discussed, like system, material, process parameters. And then post processing will also having certain exercises like surface engineering, heat treatment. In case of plastic, there are different surface process. processing process, those you have to follow. So these three things are there in the process chain. So design is related to your software, printing is related to your system, what system you are choosing, and accordingly you can choose the different process parameters in the material. And post processing is the operation that gives you the desired output. So this is the difference into the design. So if you look at the three different spheres in the first row, then you will find there is a sphere which is not truly spherical surface, and then you have some optimized data, then you have some dense mesh data. So the sphere which is replicated over here is into the mesh file format, which is having a low resolution. Then this is having a little bit optimized resolution, where you can find the smooth surfaces over here. But here, this is the dense resolution is there. So this particular structure is having very huge number of triangulations. So the processing in this particular case will be too high. But here, this is the optimized one. So the process requirement is optimized for this particular case. But here your output would be like this. So if this is acceptable for your application, it is well and good, but always go with the optimized one, which can give you that much of surface finish, which is not affecting much onto the form and fit and the appearances. If your requirement is related to your jewelry applications and the high-end applications like aerospace applications, then you must go with this particular resolution and structuring of design. So this is a case study related to your design optimization. So this is you can say a bicycle pedal, so which has been designed through your conventional process. Then we tried it out with the help of additive manufacturing process. So there was a lot of support structure. So here I am explaining little bit about the support structure. What is support structure? As your process is process of additive manufacturing is dependent on your raw material. Your raw material may have some unidentified shape, like that can be in the form of powder, that can be in the form of some wire, that can be in the form of slurry, that can be in the form of liquid resin. So that is undefined. So you have to fix that particular structure as per your requirement with a means of different, like you can say process, you can say technology, you can consider anything, like process could be there, the technology could be there. So this particular structure was built with the help of additive manufacturing process. So there was some overhangs. If you are building a house and you are making a roof, then you have to fix some like setting structures over here in order to hold the roof, in order to develop the structure. So while developing the roof, you have to fix that up with the help of some setting structures. Those may be some bamboos and flat plates in order to put there. So those bamboos will hold your roof structure so that when it gets fixed, after that you can remove that. In the same way, during the process, as this process is very much dependent on your gravity, that is why material will be always depositing from the bottom. So while it will be depositing, when it will be leaving at this particular portion, that portion may drop down due to this vacancy over here. So that is why we have to put some support structure. That support structure may be some other material, maybe some same material, that will be further dependent on the different technology. So if your support structure is there, it will easily survive to build the component. So these much of support structure will be required in order to build this particular component. But where it has solved your purpose, like if you are shifting your process, like if you are changing your manufacturing process from conventional to additive manufacturing process, your purpose should be, you have to save material, you have to save cost, you have to save time. But here you cannot see that savings because you have to invest that of support structure, that is truly waste. So it is not solving your purpose. So what we can do further, we can do some design alterations in order to save the cost, in order to reduce the support structure. So what we did some alterations into the design. So the upper design is having little bit of support structure over here, over this particular section, by the design methods. Like there is a thumb rule in additive manufacturing, which states that if your overhanging angle, this is called the overhanging. If your overhanging angle is more than 45 degree, it won't require support. If it is less than 45 degree, it will require support. So in the same way, with that particular thumb rule, it is also there in your software automatically identifies the same thing. So that software identifies and put the support structure at the required point. So it has reduced some, but here little bit of optimization in the design has reduced the support structure. But here you must have noticed the weight of this pedal has gone up. So still the purpose has not been solved. So what we can do further, we can play with the orientation. Like now we can change the orientation over here. So while changing the orientation, we were doing it horizontally in this particular case, but here we have changed it to the vertical orientation. In this vertical orientation, still there are the support structures. Still the purpose is not solving. So what we can do, we can do some more alterations with this orientation. So in this case, we have reduced almost the support structure, and there was not too much of difference in the, you can say, material consumption. But still the material consumption was more than your conventional process. So what we can do over here, as we know, there are the certain advantages with the technology. So what we can do over here, we can create design like this. And moreover, we can create designs like this. These are more attractive designs and more optimized, and reduced the removed the support structure and reduced the material consumption. So this way we can go. And as there is no set of process you have to identify with additive manufacturing process, like you need not to calibrate it to zero position, and you need to do it again and again. Once you are setting up the parameters, then the work is done. Then you can create in any of the material for what you want to go. Like this pedal was made up with some plastic, you can even go with that plastic. If you want to change that material, there are huge library available in the form of materials with you. You can go with any of the materials. So there are the different properties with the different materials, so you can utilize all those different properties as per your application. Another case, so this is a buckle which is from aircraft, commercial aircraft. So usually it manufactured through aluminum or steel. So in steel it weigh around 155 gram, and in aluminum it weigh around 120 gram. And usually in a huge aircraft, you have the 850 seat belts. So you can imagine what is the weight of only the seat belt buckle which is bearing on the flight. So in order to do the optimization, in order to without compromising the strength, you can go with structure like this. So these things can be done. If you are going to do this with the conventional process, first of all, it is near to impossible, first thing. The second thing, if you are going to do with the conventional process, these all different groups will need lot of machining operations. So you can reduce up to 68 gram without compromising the strength. There will be no harm to have this buckle with your seat belts. So there are not only the good things about the technology, there are some things as well. We cannot say these are some advantages, but we can say these are some limitations. We cannot say these are disadvantages, but we can say these are limitations of the technology. So what are those limitations? First limitation is your time. Why time? Because if you are building a huge number of components like bulk production, a mass production. If you are doing it, then you need to have more time in order to produce them. If you are having a certain limit in order to build the components, then you will need less time. But if you are talking about the mass production, in that case time consumption in this technology is very low. So time is a limitation here, because if you are making a component, if you are talking about injection molding kind of process, in injection molding process, the process is very fast. But if your requirement is not that much, like if you are not going to build like 5 lakh 10 lakh pieces, then in that case this technology can work. But if your requirement is mass production, like chairs they are making, toys they are making, in those industries time uh, is very huge for additive manufacturing. But if your requirement is versatile, like one time you are making some other component, another time you are making some different component, like there is some customization, then in that case time is less. Another thing, cost. Today we are talking about different technologies, today we are talking about different applications. So still we are into the industry, so people still do not prefer to go with additive manufacturing. Usually in automotive industry, those who are uh, their best technologies are related to the conventional process, because they do not bother to go with some new technology. They do not want to change their system layout and everything. But there is a scope with technologies, with fields like medical, dental, aerospace, or some defense equipments, UAVs and drones, you can say, electrical vehicles, where the requirement is not that specific, not that in bulk. So where the requirement is like customized, or some requirements are not associated with the cost, where the cost plays an important role. So cost is still high. And then there are some more limitations which are related to skills, because people in this particular technologies are rare, because some people are having some expertise in particular technology, some people may not have. But still, nowadays if you look at the graph, since last 5 years there is a hike in the graph. So skills is regularly increasing, so skill set is there. But the challenge again is, every third year it has some revolutions in the technology. So there are different revolutions in the technology. So again, the upgradation is very frequent. That is why skill need to be upgraded as the frequent manner. And next point is materials. So nowadays if you look at the like periodic table, so almost most of the materials has been utilized. But still there are different challenges in with the different process. So still material is under, you can say, research. So there are many research going on the composite materials, on different application based materials. So this is continuous process which is going on. Still we cannot say somebody asked me, like there was a material called Inconel. So he was asking his applications, like I can use with my forge part, at place of my forge part I can use your 3D printed part. So I was not sure to say like it is safe as your forge part. So these are some challenges which practically we are facing. So this is a slicing process which I have explained. So I won't go in deep in this. So these are some roles of slicing. So these are some applications which are there: automotive, marine application, aerospace application. Uh, Quickly, I'm moving towards, by sharing it slowly, I'm moving towards the techniques. So these are the well-known technologies which you must be aware. Like there is most common technology is fused deposition modeling, and then multi-jet modeling, then color jet printing, stereolithography, selective laser sintering, EBAM, जो कि इलेक्ट्रॉन बीम एडिटिव मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सिस्टम, और डायरेक्ट एनर्जी डिपोजिशन, which is a metal technology actually. So these are the basic technologies which are very much onto the marketing names. So but there is a certain specified classification which is there, which is more associated to the you can say academics. So this is the basic classification, which is like liquid based additive manufacturing system, powder based additive manufacturing system. Hold for a minute. Sorry. So there is liquid based additive manufacturing system is having stereolithography and material jetting, and then powder based additive manufacturing system is having SLS and binder jetting, and there are many more technologies, but I have selected only those which are very common to use. Then there is solid based additive manufacturing system, which is having laminated object manufacturing and fused filament fabrication, which is also known as fused deposition modeling. So in liquid based additive manufacturing system, there is liquid material which can be converted into the solid component by depositing layer of the resin, layer by layer deposition of resin, and that cured with the help of UV light, or you can say a laser light. So that curing happens with layer by layer, and due to this curing, the photopolymerization process happens, and that photopolymerization process enabled liquid resin to convert it into polymer, which is in the solid form. So here the liquid resin is converted into solid, which the liquid resin was monomer, and that converted into polymer with the help of in the presence of UV light. So that particular UV light behaves as catalyst. So these are the things which happens with the liquid based additive manufacturing system. So material jetting is the same example, where the process is different. In SLA, there is a laser light uh, which is selectively cured the particular material, particular layer of resin. And in material jetting, there is a head which is having your liquid resin in the head, and there are fine nozzles which enables the material to spray over the built platform layer by layer, and with the help of fusing lamps, which are usually a UV lamps, which cured each layer with every step. I will share images in further slides. In powder bed additive manufacturing system, there are powder form material, and in this particular technology there are just resins which we can use, or some ceramic materials which we can use. But here in powder based additive manufacturing system, there are you can say plastics, or you can say some metals as well. So this is a most versatile field, where right now production series printers are there. So this powder based system is also very open for different research, like you can say related to your material. So there are some printers which are associated with different metal powder materials, alloys. So this is very open technology for different research. Then there is solid based additive manufacturing system. So there is laminated object manufacturing, which is not very much additive, but still it is considered by one feature, which is depositing layers, laying layers layer by layer. So this is why it is considered to be in additive manufacturing, but still I considered it to be a subtractive manufacturing, because there is a lot of waste out of it. And then this is the most common, which is FDM, or fused filament fabrication of fused deposition modeling. Quickly, I am showing little images related to this. So this is stereolithography, which is wet polymerization process. So here is a laser light which compresses or make focus towards the lens. Mirror. This mirror enables the laser light to focus on the different areas of the cross section of your component. So this is the component building layer by layer. So this is in the zoom view, you can see. So this is one layer, this is second layer. So as per the contours, so if you look at these different contours were polymerized with the help of this laser light. So there are the different equipments which are associated over here. So this is a leveler, or you can say a sweeper, and this is a build platform, and this particular section is known as vat, or you can say tub, which is filled with the liquid resin. So that resin may have some different characteristics which may be associated with some polymers which have the characteristics associated with some ceramics. So that will depend on the properties of your resin. So these are the different process which is over here. So moving fast towards this is material jetting process, where you have the nozzle. So here it has been displayed only with the single nozzle. There may be the multiple nozzle. In order to increase the volume of deposition, you can increase the number of nozzles, but here only the single nozzle which has been displayed for the understanding. So there may be two ways of setting up the liquid resin over here, or the liquid slurry over here, with the help of blower or the heating, or we can also have some installed UV lamps over here which can cure the material which has been deposited. So this is the very simple process. Everybody can have the understanding of it. So this is selective laser sintering process, where the powder material is deposited with the help of this lower roller at a certain layer height, and with the help of laser it get cured. With the help of that laser it get cured at the selected counters. The advantage of this particular technology is that this technology do not require support structure, because powder itself gives it a support structure. But in metal there is a requirement of support structure, but that is minimal. So this is binder jetting process, which is quite similar to your selective laser sintering. In binder jetting process, instead of laser, there is some binding material which is binding the powder layer with the help of binder. That binder may be some epoxy. Those epoxies binds it together. So like your MIM process is there, you can have some green part. So in metal you can create green part out of this, and you can sinter that part in order to get your metal component. This can also give you the sand bolts for your casting operations. So this technology is also very versatile. So this is laminated object manufacturing, where the film is moving towards the another roller, and that deposits the material with the help of this heated roller. And this is having the characteristic of deposition with the successive layers, and with the help of laser, or there may be some cutter. That cutter cuts the selective area, and accordingly it will create the component. After that, this whole cuboid can came out from this particular bed, and from that particular point you can take out the component. So this is the process which is associated to laminated object manufacturing. In the same way, this is the very basic technology, where the wire form material is there, which is extruded with the help of a gear and the roller assembly. And this is the hot end, where the this particular wire form spool can melt over here. So this part is hot part. This is also known as hot end, and this part is known as extruder. Extruder extrudes the material towards the hot end, and with the help of a fine nozzle, typically the size of nozzle is 0.4 mm, deposits the material layer by layer, as you have seen in a very first video, which I have shown earlier in the slide. So what I would say, hello, can I have the questions now onwards, or I can continue with the slides, sir?
So you can continue with slides, couple of slides, and then after we can, last 5 minutes, we will take the questions.
Okay. So what I was thinking, I wanted to give you a virtual tour of my facility, so that they will experience the practical.
Yes, sir. If you have some practical demonstration video, you can show.
No, I am giving you the practical demonstration of my facility, live demonstration, sir.
Okay, you can give.
Okay, okay. So I'm joining with my cell phone so
Okay.
that I would be able to.
Hello, sir. Allow me with my device to turn on the mic and the video.
Rajkumar, with your photograph. Yes, sir. You have just logged in with your.
What, sir?
I have already allowed you.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Are you able to share?
Yeah, I am sharing my video.
Okay. It's not visible.
Okay, I have to just give me a.
You have logged in with another ID, sir,
Yes, 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 yes.
with your photograph, Raj.
Yes.
Pink background. Yes or no, sir?
Is it visible now, sir?
No, 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 sir. Yes, sir. This one, your laptop is visible.
Okay, okay. So this is the same way from where I will be joining. So please unmute from this device.
Okay. Are you able to unmute?
Yes, yes, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So I am navigating to one of the machine which is over here.
Okay, okay, sir.
So this is stereolithography technology. So here, if you look at this, this is the machine which can build the component in the reverse direction. So this is build platform. If you look at this is build platform. Visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes. It is visible.
Okay. So this machine is having these resin tanks over here. So these resin tanks are having the material filled inside it. So these are the different resins which we can use. So there are some flexible resins, some different resins which we can use. So here the cartridges are loaded on this machine, and from here we can put the resin tanks. I will show you with different machine. Right now it is not working, so I am showing it with the different machine. So this is a working machine right now. So here, if you look at this display, so it is right now printing something. So
Okay.
here, if you noticed one light, greenish light is there. This is a laser light, which is right now building a component.
Okay.
So this is
The component is
stereolithography
very
technology.
small in size, sir. What will be the size of this component that is printing inside the printer?
Actually, this particular machine is small. That machine which was lying there, I was showing you earlier, was having the huge size. But this
Okay.
particular machine is having 145 by 145 by 180 dimension. So
Okay.
under which any component is having size under this that can be printed over here. And here we are having a large format FDM machine.
Okay.
So this is having a huge volume. I will show you
All
some
are
component as
in
well.
your campus, sir.
What, sir?
All are related to your company. This all facilities are available at your company.
Yes. This machine is a FDM machine which is having a build volume of 1000 by 1500 by 700.
Okay,
so
sir.
you can even build large format of you can say casting patterns. And I can show you some components as well. So this is the SLA component, which is the actual component for a you can say sprit company. So who are into the production of sprits. So this is the component from them.
This is a 3D
And
printed
apart from
bottle, sir?
Yes, this is 3D printed.
Okay.
So I'm showing you some more 3D printed components. So this is a layout of a power station.
Okay, this is also 3D printed.
Yes. So I'm showing you some more components. These are some components for bicycle
Automotive.
panels. Yes, automotive. This is again automotive dashboard panel.
Okay.
These are some monuments. And this is actual size, full size post-process gas tank. Yes. These are some spoiler parts of car.
Maybe of Maruti.
This is actual, yes, actual part for Maruti Suzuki. This is again the gas tank. And this is impeller.
Okay.
These are some more components related to fashion industry. So this is actual, you can say.
What is the material, sir? What is the material?
For this, this is TPU.
TPU.
This is ABS. This is again ABS.
Okay.
And this is HIPS. And this is PLA.
Okay.
This is again another PLA.
Okay.
I would like to show you some production machines as well, sir.
Okay. That will be pleasure.
So here, this is the production machine, sir.
Okay.
Right now, it has just completed a build. So this machine is from HP. This is HP Multijet Fusion.
Okay.
So here, if you look
which
at
kind
this,
of methodology, process methodology,
there is a
it is
special
adopting?
technology
Which methodology
this
machine is based
fusion.
on? Multi? You are not audible right now.
Inkjet printing.
Okay.
Temperature inside. And in this way, the posting station, where the material is get post-processed and filling is also can be done on the same station. So right now, filling is going on.
Okay.
So material is loading right now, and this has just been completed.
So you are having a full range of machines which can produce small components to large components. So you are not audible right now. Sir, I request you to get back to your workplace, your previous sitting place. This is actually 3D printing. Because there are some network issues, that is why we are not able to view the video clearly, and you are also not audible. Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can unmute yourself first. Kindly unmute yourself first. Your voice is not audible. Hello. Sir, your voice not audible.
Is it audible now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can take some couple of questions and we will wind up the session, sir.
Sure, sir. Sure.
So I request all the participants, if you have some relevant questions, so you can ask directly from the sir, or you can post in the chat box.
Okay, somebody has asked for software demo. So I am sharing my screen again for the software demo. So my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, 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 sir. Your screen
Okay.
is visible.
So let us take this example over here.
Yes, sir. Yes. Those are interested and those have asked the question, kindly watch this video and
So if you
note all the details.
yeah, if anybody has question, you can interrupt in between. Right now, I am just explaining about the software. So the software is having these preloaded files. I can load from here as well. The fresh file can be loaded. And here, if you look at, these are the dimensions of this strip. Even I can take some other component, because this is not very much typical component. So I am taking some other component. So let us take this. So this is a component, sir. So if you look at this component, there are certain overhang portions and there are some critical features as well. So while selecting the orientation, as I told you earlier, the orientation should be in such a way where you can have less support structure. Apart from that, one more consideration in FDM technology especially, if you are having flat faces, then there is one flat face is here, another flat face is here. If you are having flat faces, you should go with the flat faces over here. So right now we have selected a material. As I told you earlier, there are the three things we have to mention. First is the process parameter, second is system, and third is material. So if you look at this, there are the different systems over here. First is the desktop series, industrial series, metal series. So these are the different series which we are having with us. So we have selected desktop series over here. Then we can select the material. So here, if you look at this material, then this is there are the number of materials which are over here. You can select from this library, and then you can have the reinforcement material. Like if you are having application related to the impact, then you can go with the Kevlar. If you are having application related to some tough applications, then you can go with the carbon fiber. Less tough, fiberglass. High temperature, HSST glass. So these are the different reinforcement material which you can do. So if you look at the internal structure of it, you can see this is the layer structure of it. So if you look at the reinforcement, you can find over here, these are the blue strips which are reflected over here, are related to your reinforcement. So if you are going at the 2D view of it, you can find at the different layer what is the deposition. So these are the different deposition, and this is the filling density. If you look at these triangles, this is the filling density. And if you look at the fiber reinforcement, the fiber reinforcement within this, so this is a composite at this particular place. So if anybody has some doubts, then he can ask from the slides as well as the software, please. Okay, somebody asked what are the softwares required to learn for working in 3D printing or additive manufacturing. So typically it depends on your manufacturer of your 3D printer or whatever the 3D printer, whatever the technology you are using. Because if you are talking about the metal 3D printing, so there are dedicated softwares related to the metal 3D printing. If you are talking about fuse deposition modeling, then in that case you can have some third-party software. Apart from that, you should learn softwares which are enabled to give you the CAD data, CAD file, and apart from the CAD file, you should have some add-ons into DFAM, which is designed for additive manufacturing. So if some softwares are there which are enabled with the design for additive manufacturing, you can go with that. So right now, there are certain softwares which are usually known for design for additive manufacturing. One is Fusion 360 from Autodesk that you can learn. Another is your Materialize Magics, but that is licensed and that license is very expensive. So it is better to go with the academics version of Fusion 360, which is 3 years free license for academics. So you can learn that Fusion 360. Okay, one question is there, which is how to maintain the ambient environment. If you have looked at particular cabin, so that was put it into a specific cabin. So we put a blower inside in order to maintain the ambient environment while we run the print. So there is no challenge because that is inside a specific cabinet. So we are having stainless steel metals. Somebody has asked about the what metals we can print on our machine. So we can print stainless steel, we can print copper, and we can print Inconel. So these are the different materials we can print. Even beyond that, we have facility to develop titanium, and we are having chromium, cobalt as well. So these are the different materials we can do in metal. Somebody asked, reinforcement is printed. Yes, simultaneously it can be printed. Reinforcement can be done. So somebody asked, sir, can our student come and work payment basis? Depend on the requirement, sir.
Sir, Rajkumar sir, I request to wind up the session. So
Okay.
if the participants are having some more queries, so I will give you the interested participants, only interested participants. So the interested participant, they will contact me. So I will forward or share Rajkumar sir details. So you can further contact for your personal interest.
Anybody has any doubts, any query, any kind of like support from us, you can write back. I'm just writing my email ID here.
So you can write in the chat box.
Yes. As there is limited time, so it is very hard to answer each and every question.
No, sir, you have done very good, nice presentation, and thanks for accepting our invitation for delivering such a practical point of view and of this one. And all you have shown all the 3D printers from the small capacity to the very large capacity for the industrial purposes also. So thanks a lot for delivering such a nice lecture, sir.
So I have dropped my email ID over here in the chat room, and if somebody
Sir, it is not visible. Yes, sir. So it is not visible to me yet. You can. I will post your email ID to interested participants.
okay,
No need to worry. So thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for taking such pain.
thank you, sir. Thank you all of you for joining.
Thank you, sir. Now you can leave.
Okay, thank you.
So participants, I have given a feedback form link in the Atal FDP WhatsApp group. Okay, so you can check and fill it for the day one feedback. It is a attendance cum feedback form. Okay. So attendance can be taken at any moment throughout the session. Okay. So I will again request all the participants to join for tomorrow's session. Okay. And the session will start from 9:30 and there will be 3 sessions throughout the day. Okay. So thank you for joining for today's sessions.